Which one should you believe? Her words or her actions? When she says, "I'm not looking for anything serious," but keeps showing up in your life. When she says, "I need space," but gets upset when you actually give it to her. When her mouth says one thing, but everything else says another. Most advice tells you to always trust actions. Ignore what she says. Watch what she does. But here's what that advice misses completely. The contradiction itself means something. And it's not what you think. Most men see mixed signals and assume she's confused, or playing games, or just doesn't know what she wants. But there's a reason she's doing this. A very specific reason. And once you see it, you'll never misread a woman again. This video is going to change how you understand women. I'm going to show you the real reason her words and actions don't match, how to tell exactly what she's communicating, and the 4 patterns that reveal the truth no matter what she says. So why does she contradict herself? Most men assume it's one of 3 things. She's playing games. She's confused. Or she just doesn't know what she wants. And sometimes that's true. But most of the time, there's something deeper going on. Something that has nothing to do with manipulation and everything to do with self-protection. Here's what you need to understand. When a woman's words and actions don't match, it usually comes from one of 3 places. The first is fear. She might genuinely like you. She might even be falling for you. But she's been hurt before. She's been too available and got taken for granted. She said, "I love you" too soon and watched a man pull away. So now she protects herself. Her words create distance, while her actions reveal what she actually feels. She says, "I'm not sure about this" while texting you every night. She says, "Let's take it slow" while making plans to see you. That's not confusion. That's armor. She's hedging her emotional bet so she doesn't get destroyed if you leave. The second is testing. Women test men. Not because they're manipulative, but because they need to know you're solid. They need to see how you handle pressure, uncertainty, mixed signals. So she says something that contradicts her actions to see what you'll do. Will you panic? Will you chase harder? Will you get angry and defensive? Or will you stay grounded and secure? The contradiction is the test. Your reaction is the answer she's looking for. And most men fail because they don't even realize they're being evaluated. The third is genuine uncertainty. Sometimes she really doesn't know what she wants. Not because she's playing games, but because she's genuinely torn. She likes you, but something feels off. She wants to move forward, but something holds her back. Her words reflect one part of her mind. Her actions reflect another. She's not lying to you. She's sorting through her own feelings in real time. And expecting her to have perfect clarity when she's emotionally conflicted is expecting the impossible. Here's the key insight. In all 3 cases, her words are telling you what she thinks she should feel, or what she wants you to believe. Her actions are telling you what she actually feels. Words are controlled. Actions leak the truth. But here's where most men mess up. They try to figure out which category she's in by analyzing her words even more. That's completely backwards. You don't decode her by listening harder. You decode her by watching smarter. And that's exactly what we're going to cover next. The 4 action patterns that reveal the truth, no matter what words come out of her mouth. Here are the 4 action patterns that never lie. These are the behaviors you need to watch. Not her words. Not her excuses. Not her explanations. These 4 patterns will tell you exactly where you stand, every single time. Pattern 1. Investment. How much effort is she putting into you? Not what she says she feels, but what she actually does. Does she remember details about your life? Does she follow up on things you've told her? Does she put thought into plans, gifts, messages? Investment shows up in the small things. A woman who's genuinely interested invests energy into the connection. She thinks about you when you're not around, and her actions prove it. A woman whose words say, I like you, but whose actions show zero investment, is telling you everything you need to know. Watch where she spends her effort. That's where her interest actually lives. Pattern 2. Initiative. Who's starting the conversations? Who's making the plans? Who's reaching out first? If you're always the one initiating and she's always the one responding, that's a pattern, and it's telling you something her words won't. A woman who's interested doesn't wait around hoping you'll text. She finds reasons to reach out. She creates opportunities to connect. If she says, I really want to see you, but never once suggests a time or place, her actions are speaking louder than her words. Initiative reveals priority. If she's not initiating, you're not her priority. Pattern 3. Priority. Where do you fall in her life? Not where she says you fall, but where her schedule proves you fall. Does she make time for you? Or does she fit you in around everything else? Does she cancel other plans to see you, or does she cancel you when something else comes up? A woman can tell you that you're important to her all day long, but if her calendar tells a different story, believe the calendar. Priority isn't about words. It's about choices. And every time she chooses something else over you, that's data. Pattern 4. Consistency. Are her actions stable over time, or do they fluctuate wildly? Does she show up the same way week after week, or is she hot one day and cold the next, with no explanation? Consistency is the most reliable indicator of genuine interest because real feelings don't disappear overnight. Real interest doesn't vanish between Tuesday and Thursday. If her behavior is unpredictable and her energy keeps shifting without reason, that instability is the message. Consistent interest looks consistent. Inconsistent behavior means inconsistent feelings. Here's your micro-commitment checkpoint. If you've made it this far, you now know something most men spend years trying to figure out. You know the 4 patterns that reveal the truth regardless of what she says. But there's one critical exception. One situation where her words actually matter more than her actions. And if you miss this, you could walk away from something real. So when do her words actually matter more than her actions? There's one specific situation where everything I just told you flips. And if you miss it, you could walk away from a woman who was actually falling for you. Here's the exception. When she's being vulnerable. When a woman is protecting herself, her actions reveal the truth, and her words are armor. But when a woman is being genuinely vulnerable, her words become the truth and her actions become the armor. Let me explain. Sometimes a woman will tell you exactly how she feels. She'll say, I'm scared of getting hurt. She'll say, I really like you, and that terrifies me. She'll say, I've been hurt before and I'm not sure I can do this again. Those words are not manipulation. Those words are her dropping her guard. And in that moment, her words are telling you more truth than her actions ever could. The problem is, right after she says something vulnerable, she might pull back. She might get distant. She might seem cold or confusing. And most men see that pullback and think she's losing interest or she's playing games. But that's not what's happening. She just exposed herself emotionally, and now she's scared. Her actions are protective. Her words were the real confession. Here's how you tell the difference. Vulnerability sounds specific. It sounds personal. It references her fears, her past, her insecurities. Manipulation sounds vague. It sounds designed to get a reaction. It keeps you confused and chasing. When she says, I don't know what I want, with no emotion, that's avoidance. When she says, I don't know what I want because the last time I fell this hard, I got destroyed, with her voice shaking, that's vulnerability. Same words, completely different meaning. This is where most men mess up. They hear a woman express genuine fear, and they either try to fix it immediately, or they get frustrated and pull away. Both responses fail the moment. Because what she needs when she's being vulnerable isn't a solution. It's safety. She needs to know that you heard her, that you're not running, and that her honesty didn't scare you off. If you respond to her vulnerability with patience and steadiness, you pass a test most men don't even know exists. And that's when everything shifts. So now you understand why contradictions happen, what patterns to watch, and when to trust her words instead. But knowing isn't enough. You need a system. Here's the framework that puts everything together. This is a simple system you can use anytime you're getting mixed signals. Follow these steps in order, and you'll know exactly where you stand. Step 1. Observe the 4 patterns. Before you analyze anything she says, track her investment, initiative, priority, and consistency over at least 2 weeks. Don't judge day to day. Look at the trend. Is she investing in you consistently? Is she initiating at least sometimes? Are you a priority in her schedule? Is her energy stable? If 3 or 4 of these patterns are positive, her interest is real regardless of confusing words. If 2 or more are negative, believe the patterns. Step 2. Identify the reason. If her actions are positive but her words are protective, she's likely operating from fear. She's interested but guarded. If her actions and words seem designed to provoke a reaction, she's probably testing the. She wants to see how you handle pressure. If both her words and actions are genuinely inconsistent with no pattern, she might be uncertain. She's still figuring out her own feelings. Step 3. Check for vulnerability. Before you make any big decisions, ask yourself, has she shown genuine vulnerability recently? Did she share something personal, something that made her look weak or scared? If she did, and then pulled back afterward, don't interpret the pullback as rejection. Give her space, but stay present. Her words during vulnerability told you more than her protective actions after. Step 4. Respond based on what you find. If she's operating from fear, give her safety through consistency. Don't chase, but don't disappear. Show her that your interest is stable even when hers fluctuates. If she's testing, stay grounded. Don't react emotionally. Don't chase harder or pull away in frustration. Just remain steady and watch what happens when she realizes her test didn't shake you. If she's genuinely uncertain, give her space to figure it out without pressure. Match her energy. Don't overinvest while she's still deciding. Step 5. Set a timeline. This is crucial. You cannot wait forever for clarity. Give the situation 2 to 4 weeks of observation. If the patterns haven't improved, if her actions still don't match her words, and if vulnerability hasn't appeared, it's time to have a direct conversation or make a decision to move on. Here's your second checkpoint. You now have a system that most men never figure out. You can decode her signals, understand her reasons, recognize vulnerability, and respond correctly. But there's one more thing we need to talk about. A hard truth that might be uncomfortable to hear. Because sometimes, the mixed signals aren't coming from her. Here's the hard truth most men don't want to hear. Sometimes you're the one sending mixed signals, and you don't even realize it. You've spent this whole video learning how to decode her. But have you ever stopped to think about what signals you're sending? Because from her perspective, you might be just as confusing as she is to you. Think about it. Do your words match your actions? You tell her you're interested, but then you go days without texting. You say you want something serious, but you never make concrete plans for the future. You tell her she's important to you, but you cancel when something better comes up. You say you're not like other guys, but then you act exactly like every guy who's hurt her before. And here's what happens. She starts reading your patterns the same way you're reading hers. She watches your investment, your initiative, your priority, your consistency. And if those don't match your words, she gets confused. She doesn't know what to believe. So she pulls back, she protects herself, she starts giving you the same mixed signals you think you're receiving. And then you look at her behavior and think she's playing games, or she doesn't know what she wants. But the mixed signals started with you. This isn't about blame. This is about awareness. Because the energy you put out is the energy you get back. If you want clarity from her, you need to give clarity first. Your words and actions need to align. Your interest needs to be visible in what you do, not just in what you say. Ask yourself honestly. If she was watching your patterns the way I taught you to watch hers, what would she see? Would she see investment? Would she see initiative? Would she see priority and consistency? Or would she see a man who says one thing and does another? A man whose words promise connection but whose actions create distance. Here's the real test. Before you diagnose her as confused or playing games or not knowing what she wants, look in the mirror first. Make sure you're not the source of the very confusion you're trying to decode. Because sometimes the clearest path to understanding her is understanding yourself first. And sometimes the mixed signals you're reading are just reflections of the mixed signals you've been sending. Let me leave you with one final truth. And this might be the most important thing I say in this entire video. You've been searching for clarity. You've been analyzing her words, watching her actions, looking for signs, trying to decode what she really feels. And now you have the tools to do that. You know the 4 patterns. You know when words matter more. You know how to respond. You know to check yourself first. But here's what most people never realize. Clarity isn't something she gives you. Clarity is something you create. You can spend months waiting for her to make things clear. Waiting for her to say something definitive. Waiting for her actions to finally line up with her words. Or you can decide that you've seen enough. That you know what you know. And that you're going to act on that. The man who waits for her to give him clarity is the man who stays stuck. The man who creates his own clarity is the man who moves forward. That doesn't mean you ignore the signals. It means you trust your ability to read them. You've done the work. You've watched the patterns. You've checked for vulnerability. You've looked in the mirror. Now make a decision. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Some women will never give you the certainty you're looking for. Not because they're playing games, but because they're human. They're uncertain. They're scared. They're figuring things out just like you are. And if you need her to hand you clarity on a silver platter before you can move, you'll be waiting forever. The real shift happens when you stop needing her to tell you where you stand, and you start deciding where you stand. When you trust your own judgment. When you stop outsourcing your peace of mind to her words or her actions, and you take ownership of your own choices. That's what real confidence looks like. Not certainty about her. Certainty about yourself. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you ever been in a situation where her words and actions didn't match? What happened? How did you handle it? And knowing what you know now, would you have done anything differently? I read every comment. And if this video helped you see things more clearly, hit that subscribe button. We're building something here. A community of men who don't chase confusion. Men who create clarity. Men who understand that the real power isn't in reading her perfectly. It's in trusting yourself completely. See you in the next one.